Got some new polling into us from Emerson College. A survey released just a few minutes ago shows Donald Trump with a growing and commanding lead over Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who, as we reported earlier, is expected to jump into the race next month. Trump now leads, according to this poll anyway, 62% to 16% over Ron DeSantis, with former Vice President Mike Pence netting 7% of the votes there. Joe, one other thing that has shifted, at least again, this is one poll, this is the Emerson College poll, is that the argument for Ron DeSantis has been, well, he's got a better shot at beating Joe Biden. Donald Trump can't beat him. In this poll anyway, in this head-to-head hypothetical matchup, you have now Donald Trump closer to Joe Biden than you have Ron DeSantis. Right. So in this, again, one poll, 18 months out, all those caveats. But anyway, clearly the movement is toward Donald Trump and away from Ron DeSantis.
Well, it is, but it's, you know, Donald Trump's had the field to himself. And I guess the question, Jonathan O'Meara, is what happens if Ron DeSantis does, in fact, step out? And if he does, in fact, step out in the middle of May, I think we'll see this race tightening up. The question is, why has it taken him so long? I mean, you know, if you're going to make the argument, hey, I have to stay here until the end of session, that's fine, except when you're in, like, Japan. and when you're not going to Fort Lauderdale, when there's flooding in Fort Lauderdale, and when you seem wildly disengaged from your job in Tallahassee, you know, there are a lot of people who are governors who run for president. So I wouldn't be knocking him if that's what he was doing. You can do two things at once. But again, the question is, why has he waited so long? He's given Donald Trump this massive head start. We see what's happening with the poll numbers. I suspect, again, it's very early. At this point in 2008, we were all talking about how Hillary Clinton was going to be facing in 2007, I mean. We were talking about how Rudy Giuliani was going to be facing Hillary Clinton in 2008, proving once again my mediocrity. No. Just like the Red Sox. I bet about 500. I'm fine with it.
No.
But it's way too early to say, well, this is just positive. But you do have to question Ron DeSantis' political judgment, because he just keeps stepping on one political landmine after another.
Yeah, being a governor is a great launching pad to run for president. That's what we've seen in recent decades. But DeSantis has fouled this opportunity up. I mean, yes, he has said he wants to wait for the state legislative session to end. OK. And he also needed to get a law changed in Florida that allows a person who has an office to run for another one. And that's going to happen. The state legislative has indicated they'll overturn that in early May. So that won't be an issue either. But he has turned his back on Florida, except for this fight with Disney, which we've been detailing all morning, has gone so poorly for him. He ignored Fort Lauderdale. He's been on this book tour. He was in Japan. He's in Jerusalem this morning, right now, as we speak. He is not there in Tallahassee. He's not tending to the people's business. So, yes, when he jumps in, that will be a moment. That will perhaps be an important moment for him to try to change the narrative. But he's going to have to do things very differently. He's going to have to go on the attack. He's going to have to take shots at Trump. He's going to have to try to regain the sense that he is the best alternative to Trump. Because, yes, you're right. And again, all the caveats about how early this is, but there's no question a sense in Republican circles right now, people that I'm talking to each and every day in Washington, but also around the country, a sense of inevitability is starting to seep in here about Donald Trump, that they sort of think it's going to be him again. Now, of course, there are some game-changing events, legal ones in particular, that could impact that. But at least at this moment, all momentum is with Trump.
Yeah, and I've got to say, too, we talked before, Mika, about future indictments, and we're talking about Jack Smith.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, you look at polls for whatever reason, and I think it's because people can understand it because they hear Donald Trump telling a Republican supporter, a Secretary of State, rig this election for me. The Georgia case is the one that actually seems to have the greatest impact with voters. And so we talk about Jack Smith, the documents case. I don't know how much impact that's going to have, considering Joe Biden, Mike Pence, even though there was the obstruction. It's that Georgia case. It's the obvious phone call. It's Lindsey Graham trying to call up, trying to interfere in that election. That, I think, will have
Could
a
be.
pretty significant
So,
impact.
And what we know about that is that there will be some sort of outcome this summer. So the timing, I agree with you, could be pretty tough for Donald Trump, depending on how that plays out.